Hey, what's happening? Welcome to the Pleasure Points Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Rohr. Thank you so much for being here. This episode is like a tale of two generations. I realized that I am an old man with some old man thinking and tendencies. Thank goodness Jen's on the show to reel me back in. And at the same time, we talk about my growing TikTok fame and celebrity. Celebrity is probably too strong a word, but I've had some TikTok success, so we'll talk about that too. So I don't know. I'm straddling two different worlds right now. Or maybe it's not even two worlds. Maybe TikTok is just no longer for young people and it's just old people have taken over. In which case, where are the young people going if there isn't TikTok? Tell me. Keep me posted. I want to know these things. Thank you guys for being here. Have a great week and enjoy the show. Oh, yeah, baby. Here we are. Early birds catching the worm, but not early enough to beat the lawnmower people outside mowing our neighbors' lawns in our perfectly manicured HOA suburb.
Ooh, yeah. The lawn people get after it first thing in the morning.
Yeah,
I respect that.
Well, it gets so hot.
It gets so hot. Wouldn't you rather mow the lawn at 8 in the morning?
That's also why we're doing this so early, to try to beat the heat.
Yeah. It's
'Cause of
everybody.
anchovies and oven.
It's the summer problems in the world. Everyone's just trying to get things done before it gets hot.
Yeah.
Exercise, breakfast, mowing the lawn, running, all the things.
Thanks for stepping away from watching TikTok home decorating videos to join us on the podcast.
Ooh, it was really tough. I found this lady that I love now on TikTok. I call her now my guru, who is a home decorating genius.
Your color guru.
She's a color guru. Love her. She's awesome. I feel like I've learned so much about everything. And now that we're looking at the van, I'm like, oh God, I did all the things she said not to do. The van is like gray. She said that gray is out. Oh no.
Yeah. Well, we have a paint sprayer now.
Yeah.
Should we just spray paint the entire van?
I'm going to spray
Or
the van.
Paint spray.
I'm going to spray the van.
No way. The van's perfect.
No. We could paint this.
I think the
We
van
paint
could
this
be.
white.
I think the van could be gray. It's fine. It's a van.
It's a van. Gray is a good color for the van because it's resists the dirt. This is a lot of dirt that
Yeah.
happens.
But she was all like anti-gray floor and like all gray everything.
Remember when we almost bought that brown wood floor?
For the van?
Yeah, we had it. We returned it, right? Because the gray was cheaper.
I don't remember.
She basically just had this whole video about how if you want, like, her whole thing, her whole shtick is that if you want your home or whatever to look classic and like be in style for a really long time, like don't fall for all the weird trending things. And apparently there was a trend, which I don't even know because I don't really understand this stuff as I'm becoming an interior decorator now. Not really, but kind of want to secretly, not so secretly. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that was a trend. So apparently gray is out, but we did the van floor gray and the walls.
Yeah, everything's gray, but it's a van.
Yeah, it's a van.
But one of the things that I hated hearing, and the ex used to say it, and sometimes you say it too, is when people are like, "It's so in right now. This is what everybody's doing," and it's like clothes, or to a certain extent decorating, but especially with clothes, it's like this is the thing that everyone's doing. It's so in right now, and my gut instinct is always like, I don't give a shit. Who cares? Stop chasing the trend. You'll drive yourself crazy.
Well, you know who can say that?
Who?
Men who have been wearing the same two things for the last how many years? Like, you would put on a video from like 1930, there's going to be some guy with slacks and a button-up shirt and a black tie. Like, I have just unsubscribe. Look at women's fashion. It's constantly changing all the time. And that's not fair. To a certain degree, men's fashion changes too.
Well,
But-
men's fashion is just getting more and more lazy. I mean, it's sort of across the board, but it's like people just don't dress as nice as they used to. And now, welcome to the crotchety old man segment of the Pleasure Points podcast.
I was going to say, Grandpa Jim, you want to tell us more about your old man
Damn
thinkings?
people wearing sweatpants on airplanes. I used to dress up to fly.
Yeah, it's crazy though, right?
Yeah.
It really is. Like, I'm one to wear just exercise and clothing all the time. I mean, I'm in exercise clothing right now as we speak, which is like, one step above pajamas basically. But yeah, like I was just surprised. Like, I would never in school when I was growing up wear sweatpants or like to school.
Yeah.
I didn't like, that's just not a thing. But that's what everybody does now. I mean, like in college, maybe some of the athletes would wear sweatpants, but it was always like, because they're athletes, you know, they
Yeah.
could like get away with it because they like, you know, football players, basketball players, or
Right. They're training all the time.
lacrosse or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're like going to practice after, so they're wearing their sweatpants. But regular people, you couldn't just do that. You can't just walk around in sweatpants. Who do you
Yeah.
think you are?
Mm-hmm. Now look.
But they're so comfortable, so I get that. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna wear my I don't even own sweatpants. I don't think that I would wear out of the house.
Yeah. I used to, when I was not feeling well with my gut, the days that I would dress up the nicest were typically the days that I felt the worst. Because I was like, well, maybe if I like dress up, like if I put on nicer clothes, it'll kind of carry me through or hide the fact that I feel like shit. And people will just be like, oh, you look really nice today.
Well, there's science behind that.
Is there?
Yeah, like there's studies done that I think on test takers in college where they would test them. They would measure their test scores on the kids who dressed up versus the kids who didn't, and the kids who dressed up did better. They performed better on the exams than the ones. Yeah. So I actually, I don't know why I probably read that in some college newspaper or something, and so I would dress up for my tests. I don't know if it helped me or not.
Some conservative newspaper infiltrating campuses to try to like get people to bring back some conservative values and like dress up, care about yourself. You can do this.
I mean, sometimes it wasn't even like it wasn't necessarily even like dressing up and like being fancy. It was more just like dress so that you feel really good about yourself and like you feel confident.
Yeah.
And so, you know, back in my college days, that wasn't necessarily like dressing fancy, but it was like rocking some major like snowboarding.
It's like maybe you don't wear your
Cool.
snowboard helmet to class.
I definitely never wore my helmet to class, but there was a goggle tan, like a really significant two-tone face.
Yeah.
It was like kind of like a status symbol.
It's like a raccoon's.
Yeah, that's why I had to like pray that I was going to do well on my test because I had spent all week up in the mountains snowboarding, and I'm like, I need all the help I can get to get a better grade. I'm going to dress up for this test.
It's pretty obvious how you spent the weekend.
Totally.
Yeah, well, that's like you know, when doTERRA came out with that adaptive line, and they had that study that showed that kids tested better when the adaptive was in the air. Just something about being more relaxed and like present and calm in your body, you know, leads to better test results, which makes sense.
Yeah, and if you're like worried about your clothes and you feel like, oh, I feel like, you know, you're like, oh, I'm a slob and I have ketchup on my sweatpants, and like you just feel not good about yourself,
Yeah.
then it would make sense because then you're thinking about those things, or you're thinking about how uncomfortable you are if you're wearing clothes that don't feel good in your body, then you're thinking about that instead of about your test. It's distracting.
So I'm super stoked because you are reading one of my absolute favorite books. You just started it. Joe
That's true.
Dispenza's Becoming Supernatural.
Oh my gosh, I just love that book so far. I can't believe that it's taking me this long to read it.
It's the like, if you're out there looking for a kind of a quote unquote self-help book, and you're looking to, if you feel blocked, if you've been hitting those upper limits and you're looking to like really catapult yourself into that next level, I can't recommend this book enough. I think it's tremendous.
I don't even think it's like for people who are blocked. I think it's just anyone who's interested in spirituality or meditation, or like you're into stuff that we talk about on this podcast. I'm just amazed at how eloquent he speaks and the nuances. I'm only like 50 pages in, but there's been multiple times I've already just like put the book down and let things sink in for a couple days, because the way that his perspective is, it's really cool how he combines the neuroscience with mindfulness, and just the way he describes things is really great.
That sounds like a justification of someone who doesn't really read that much, to justify not reading for a few days. You're like, I'm letting things simmer, percolate.
Well, I'm more of the type of person that's like, I do better if you like, you know, lock me in an airplane where I can't go anywhere in like the middle seat. And
Yeah.
like I'm reading for like 3 hours.
Mhm.
And like I will do it and get it done because I'm like in that environment. So I kind of like to, you know, I'm kind of an extremist in some ways. Like I like to just like, I have a hard time taking my time.
Well, you
so
can't
it's
handle
like,
distractions. You're looking around at like all the interior decorating, thinking about all the things that we did wrong while you're trying to read the book. But
That's
remember,
not true.
Remember when we used to, when you
That's
like,
not fair.
when we thought that you were gonna,
I was distracted by the cat though.
yeah,
And you, Mr. TikTok influencer. I was quietly having my water with grapefruit and reading Joe Dispenza and listening to the birds chirp and like looking at how cute our cat is, having a great morning. And I hear you from inside cursing as you lost your TikTok video and you had to borrow my phone. And there was like all this whole thing that you were having and experiencing with your TikTok influencer. For those of you who don't know, Jim has become, over the last week.
Yeah. So since we last chatted here on the podcast.
So you were actually the one that distracted me.
I'm now becoming.
But because I love you, I allowed you to distract me.
Yeah. So since we've last visited you guys on the podcast, I've become kind of a big deal on TikTok, and by kind of a big deal, I mean like.
Kind of a big deal.
It's pretty good. For the first week, I started with, I had like, I don't know, 100 people that followed me or whatever. It was just like friends and random accounts. I did like 3 videos of doTERRA stuff over the last 2 years, and that was all I had up there. And then my aunt, who's amazing, who's also like into TikTok, we'd call and visit with each other on the phone about once a month or so. And every time we'd talk, she would be like, why aren't you on TikTok? You've got to be making your videos. Like, do TikTok. And the last time that we chatted, she was like, you are totally overthinking this. Like, just make a video and post it. And she was totally right. So I made a video about Chinese medicine and tongue diagnosis. And it's got like 13,000 views on it already. And so I made a video every day pertaining to something with acupuncture and Chinese medicine in the tongue. And now I've got, I don't know, 1,500 followers. And the videos have been seen like 30,000 times.
Yeah, in a week, I would say that's pretty good numbers.
Yeah. So look out, world. This little humble podcast guy is now becoming superstar. TikTok.
Tongues.
The tongue guy.
The tongues are among us.
TikTok tongues.
TikTok tongues.
So the account is Roar Wellness. If you want to check it out and see what you're missing out on. Discover what the rest of TikTok has discovered.
Yeah, and you can totally duet Jim. I'm just going to say this. And show him your tongue, and then he'll do like a little thing for you, explaining all the problems that you have.
So things are getting weird. So the tongue stuff is really cool in Chinese medicine. Part of why I love it is because it's a way to monitor your health, and not just your health, but also any kind of intervention you're doing. If you're changing your diet, if you are adding in supplements, if you've started seeing a new healthcare practitioner or whatever. If that stuff is working well, you'll see it change you'll see the change in your tongue from whatever it is to like looking good. The TikTok has examples of, I've posted pictures so you can see what we're talking about. And so I love that kind of like DIY, like you're empowered. Like everything that we do is basically to help people feel empowered, to be able to regulate their own health. That's why I love the essential oils. It's because you can apply those. You can't necessarily stick yourself with acupuncture needles, but we can use the oils, especially oils on points. And now we're throwing in the tongue assessment as part of that. I mean, 10 years ago, I made an app called Tongues that just didn't really, I didn't understand the art of promotion. And so it didn't really go anywhere. The app wasn't all that great. It was also 10 years old. So, I mean, it was 10 years ago, so the technology was totally different. But this whole TikTok thing seems to be pretty fun. Hopefully it doesn't change trends anytime soon where people will still appreciate learning from each other. It's like everyone's videos now are like little mini TED Talks. It's tremendous.
Yeah,
it's really cool. Like perfect for me right now.
Yeah.
Like when it was just a dance thing, like not so good for me. But now that it's like, hey, talk about that weird like niche that you know. What's that weird pocket of knowledge that you have? And, make it in videos.
It's awesome. I'm all about it.
And it's typically way less long-winded than these podcasts.
Well, what's really interesting I've learned about you throughout this whole process is like how many ideas and things that you just like create. You're a total manifesting generator. I don't know if anyone out there follows human design, but the more that I get to know Jim, the more I'm like, oh my gosh, you really totally fit the archetype for a manifesting generator, like 100%. You have like legit so many surprises and little things that come out. Like this morning, he's like, oh, check out this YouTube video that I made 12 years ago that has 70,000 views. And it's like this little creature. It's like a bear or something. It's like a cartoon talking to this other creature about Chinese medicine. And it's like having this whole conversation. He's like, oh, and I made this app. And like, oh, by the way, I have this book and like all these random things that you've done. And I do think it's because, that human design type of manifesting generator, you have multi passions and you can like do you can do the podcast, you can be on TikTok, you can have like the app. There's so many different things that you can do all at once. And it's like you thrive in that space of like all the different things happening all the time. Oh, by the way, he's also renovating the bathroom right now.
Yeah, so I had like a perfect manifesting generator day the other day.
Oh my God.
Where
It gives me anxiety.
I woke up at like 5:30 in the morning, had coffee, whatever, drove to this nice trail that I like to run in this potential marathon training, like Jim as a runner situation now. I ran like 6 miles, listening all about like the Nike Run Club app. I love these guys. There was running, talking about like manifesting your goals and like all these things. And then I came home, made a TikTok video, posted that, responded to some things, and then decided that it was time to renovate a bathroom. And so spent the rest of the day just like destroying our current bathroom, removing the tub, picking up the tile, clearing out the tile, and creating the possibility for a new space.
Yeah. And I'm just like, my brain just like short circuits. I'm like, how are you switching gears? Like, what is happening? As a
Yeah, because like
generator,
for
I'm
the
like,
last year
one thing.
I've been like working with Wyatt, like homeschooling with Wyatt, and just like settling into being around more and discovering the new dynamics and being really present with him. And I would do like puzzles on the table and stuff, and just was really like deep in hibernation. And now I'm in like full yang energy. Like here we are, summertime. It's like, what else can we do? And it feels so good. Like I'm at my best when I'm creating stuff, when I'm just like, when I'm doing these things, having projects. And the beauty of this TikTok stuff now is that there's like clearly defined kind of things that we can do. Like I have all these ideas of different videos that I can make now. And it's so nice to have that kind of structure.
Yeah, and it's so nice to see you thriving. Like just you having one project or like one thing that's happening is not good for your energy field. Like to see you thriving, doing so many different things, it's like, great, bring on all the projects. I am not that way at all. As a generator, I think I do very well with like one thing, and I focus on the one thing, and it's like the long, steady road for the one thing. But it's really cool. I've been enjoying this process.
Thank you. When I was in when I started my acupuncture practice in Chicago, I was working at a hospital system, and then I started teaching at the acupuncture college in the city, and then I opened a private practice there. And then when I got hired by Canyon Ranch to move to Miami, I was so excited. I was like, okay, this is great. I'm full-time, salaried, benefits, like all the stuff. I was like, I don't have to be running around to different offices. I can just be in one place and like have set hours, and it's going to be great.
And you were miserable.
And I was there for like, I don't even know, 6 months maybe before I opened a side practice.
Yeah.
I was like, and then I opened another thing. And then I started
you made the
other
tongue
stuff.
thing. And then
yeah.
you opened a tea business.
Yeah. And then I was just like, oh, I guess I really do like to have lots of different
5 things going
happening.
On. Yeah. And they don't even have to be related in the
it's
same
It's better
field.
if they're not.
It's pretty incredible.
Like, legit, most of like these ideas and like some of this stuff, the stimulation and stuff has come from when I was doing like doing the bathroom stuff. What were we doing before? Oh, we were painting the other bathroom.
Yeah.
So we got a paint sprayer and we're like painting some of the vanities.
We have oak cabinets. Our house was built in 1989, and it literally looks like we took a picture. Did we already tell you guys this? I don't remember. We took a picture at Thanksgiving when we had all of our family over, and it literally looks like it could have been a throwback picture to 1989.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So everything's oak. So we bought a paint sprayer.
Not okay. I'm not okay with that.
And we were thinking about painting our cabinets in the kitchen. But that's like a whole thing, and there are like oak purists and wood purists who are like, you painting on the wood is like a terrible idea. Like,
and also they shouldn't have gone trendy.
Yeah, I don't know. And so we have an oak cabinet vanity in one of those smaller bathrooms, and so I was like, well, let's just experiment with that one and then see kind of what happens with all the stuff. And so it was a whole process, obviously taking it apart and then sanding it and then filling in the wood grain, sanding it again, priming it, painting it, like all this thing. So I was spending a lot of time, but in the process of doing that, I was able to start thinking about some of these TikToks and like other things to create. And it's like, there's just something that is so satisfying about like getting my hands involved and just like having these little projects that then frees up other parts of the creativity.
And that is a manifesting generator at the core. I'm so glad I've been sending you all those memes. I finally like tapped into human design. If you guys haven't done human design,
it's all based on your birthday.
It's based on your birthday. You can just go, I think it's free. You can just go on just Google human design test, and then you put in your birthday, and then it will tell you what design type you are. And I don't know much about it. I'm honestly like,
It gets super complicated.
Yeah, it gets really complicated.
So, but just focus on like your main design type, and it'll give you like a brief breakdown, and so you can start there.
Right. And I've found a lot of comfort in knowing and connecting with a design type because it helps you to thrive. Like if I was comparing myself to you, be like, oh my gosh, why don't I have 5 projects going on? Or if I was trying to be like a projector who like niches down really well and like gets super creative about things and has great vision, I wouldn't be living in my truth and living my best life. And so I think that it's been super helpful. And just to see you, like, it's night and day. I mean, not saying like it was bad before, but like you're thriving right now. It's awesome.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for all the support and patience. As I was trying to figure out what's what.
No problem, TikTok influencer. So I've been taking little videos of like all the weird things Jim is doing. I can't wait to post it as like an influencers in the wild moment.
Yeah,
So
Jen
stay
feels
tuned.
like totally vindicated because I'm just saying and parroting all the stuff that she's been complaining about for the last year where I'm like, oh, the lighting is so inconsistent. Oh, I need a different background. Like, oh, the sound, like you guys have to leave so I can record, and like just all of these like petty little influencer things. But they make a difference. All that stuff makes a difference. And she's been saying it. So she's just been like going back and forth between rolling her eyes at me and also like
Grateful that you understand.
yeah, feeling,
Seen. Well, welcome. If there are any influencers out here listening, we'd love your advice and support. So tell us the tips and tricks.
Yeah, and there's a certain amount of just like doing it and seeing what happens, you
Right.
know. And like each time I've been making these videos now, it's there is like that kind of hesitation and this weird thing of like, are people going to like it? Like, is this good or am I going to lose followers? Like this really scarcity, like fucked up mindset. I understand why social media is like so terrible.
Well,
But the
that's why I
best
like
part
to take
about-
breaks from it.
Yeah.
Like you have to be so strong in your energy to that like desire to get approval from people and the desire to be liked, because you know that when you open things up on the internet, like there's going to be haters, like there's going to be the what do you call them, trolls that come, right?
Yeah.
That's just inevitable. So, being able to handle that and be okay with that, and it's just like a whole psychological thing. And like that urge to be like, oh my gosh, how's my video doing? Like I love that one the video, I don't know if it was TikTok or Instagram, but it's like, time to check my social media, and it's like the Lion King, because it's like, it's like that addiction to the response of like, how do people like me? Do people like me? Or am I approved? Do people love me or do they hate me? And like get wrapped up in that whole wormhole.
Yeah.
And I think that the challenge with social media is to be able to like enjoy that, be a part of it, participate without your energy being hijacked,
It's just also amazing to me how awful people can be. Like this
Horrible.
woman was like, wow, you just used a lot of words to say nothing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's so
Like,
mean.
wow, thanks for coming by. That's what I posted. I responded to her. I was like, well, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
It's like, can you imagine someone saying that to your face?
Well,
Like-
that's like when you went on that hike that we talked about, and the guy's like, well, let's not unpack that one.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like-
totally. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. People are just mean, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Some
just this-
people are horrible. Well, it's just people are sick. They're sad and they're lonely and,
Yeah.
And they
Tough
wear
times.
sweatpants. Like it all comes back to like if people dressed up and they cared about their appearance.
I feel like my grandmother is like sitting in the room with us. Remember the time that I wore, I was like going to the airport. And so like normally I try to dress a little nicer when I would go visit my grandmother, just out of respect for her. And also because she would approval of my grandmother, because what she would just like, I remember one time when I was a kid, I had just like started wearing makeup and like had no idea what I was doing, obviously, because like my mom's a hippie and I love her. And also like she was not going to teach me how to wear makeup, So I think I was like, I don't know, I must have been 8th grade, 9th grade. So, puberty vibes, no idea what I'm doing. Bought some mascara at Walgreens or something with a friend. And of course got waterproof mascara, had no eye makeup remover. And I'm putting this on and my grandmother comes over and she goes, "What's that crap on your face? You look like a night woman." Meaning like, I look like a hussy. That was just like amazing because she, that generation, even though she's an esthetician and wears a lot of makeup, but she obviously
She knew what
thought that
she
I was
doing.
too young. So having that kind of judgment from my grandmother growing up, if that like this is the way things are and this is the way they should be and this is what you should look like, she always wanted to dress me up like a little doll. But
Yeah.
so later, right before she passed away, one time I went to visit her and I was like literally leaving from seeing her to go to the airport. So I was wearing like holy jeans or like, I don't know, just some regular clothes. Probably because I didn't pack any without holes or whatever. And my grandmother totally sincerely puts her hand on my leg. Were you there when
I
she
was
did
there.
this?
Yeah, it was
And
amazing.
she like whispered over, probably because you were there. Otherwise she probably would have said something more more pointed. But she looks at me, puts her hand on my leg, and she leans in and she goes, "Sweetheart, are you okay? Do you need money? Your pants have holes in them." Like she was so concerned about my holy pants. And I just leaned back and I was like, "Grandma, I actually paid more for these holy jeans. You're not going to believe this. It's really stupid and embarrassing. And also, it's just so in right now."
Exactly. I loved visiting your grandma. She was she had a lot of like dementia, or was it Alzheimer's? She had memory.
She was, I mean, she's
memory issues.
95. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think everyone at 95 has dementia.
But when we would go visit, it was great because she never remembered meeting me, and every time her reaction was the same.
Yeah.
She would always just look at me, and then she'd look at Jen, and she'd be like, "He is so handsome. Look at his beautiful blue eyes."
Totally.
And it was every time.
Every time.
Every time we'd visit her, she would say the same thing, and it was great. And then she would also sometimes she would pepper in things like, "Jenny, you need to really take care of yourself.
Yeah.
He's very good looking."
Yeah. She would tell me, she's like, "You need to comb your hair more. You need to do more with your hair." Now she's probably like, put that mascara on. get your night woman mascara out.
Yeah, luck be a lady.
Oh my gosh.
But we have like our neighbor here next door. He's I think he's in his 80s. He'll like blast Frank Sinatra like across many of our backyards, and about once a week he'll put on 5 or 6 songs and blast it and hoot and holler, and like there's just something that's so simple about it. It's just so nice. It's like a throwback to like a time when people, I don't know, maybe they were nicer to each other. But then there's also like horrible racism, sexism, and like all sorts of shit. So maybe they weren't that nice to him.
Yeah.
But they all dressed up.
Yeah, they did look nice. Well, it's interesting like watching that. What's that moon show that we watch now on Netflix? What's it called? For All Mankind?
For All Mankind
For All
on
Mankind.
Apple TV.
Oh, on Apple TV. Yeah, so we've been watching that, and it's,
We just finished season 1.
it takes place when JFK would have been president. It's like the whole premise of the show is that if the Russians would have gotten to the moon first, and how things would play out. And it's really interesting to watch, but just looking at some of those gender norms and the non-acceptance of gay and lesbian people in NASA.
Yeah, super messed up.
Yeah, it's just really
Like
interesting.
being
and,
gay
like,
was a security risk.
yeah, it's like, wow, it's just so different now.
Yeah. Yeah, thank goodness.
No one was wearing sweatpants in that video for sure.
That's true. But then we've been watching some TV because I'm just like dog tired by the end of the day with all these
Because
things.
Jim has 25 projects
Yeah.
going on at the same time.
And so then we went over that, and we went over to watch some other show on Apple TV. I don't even remember what it's called, but she's like, the 80s,
dance.
she's in 80s. It's in the 80s, and she like becomes like an aerobics instructor, or like creates like aerobics.
Yeah.
But that show's really intense too. She's got like an eating disorder, and they were like, you hear her inner dialogue, which is just like super nasty. But I appreciate that because I think that like we all have I know I have a voice like that in me, and I would imagine everybody does. And so it's like, but it's jarring to hear it like expressed, but also like that's part of the amazingness of the show. But just the costumes, it's like we're going from like the 60s and early 70s to like the early 80s. And then we get to see oak cabinets in their houses, and it's like, oh my God.
It looks perfect in that 80s show. It looked great.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Full wood. Everything was wood.
Full oak.
Yeah. I wonder what the interior decorator lady says about that.
Yeah, we should find. I'm sure she talks about whether to paint it or not.
Yeah.
You let us know what you guys think. If there's any decorators and style people that listen to the show,
To paint the
to
oak.
paint the oak in the kitchen or not.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's kind of a big thing.
It
There's
is a
like
big thing.
it's like people are very fanatical on both sides of the question.
Well, we just have to decide for ourselves.
So we decided not to make a decision. Well, we made a decision to hold off, and then we went full on bathroom mode. Because earlier on in the summer, I was like, no, we shouldn't do the bathroom. I don't know what I'm doing. It could be like really insane. And then I just was like, well, there's enough YouTube videos. I can figure this out. And the good news is I got the fiberglass. I got the old tub out. I got the old tub out without breaking a pipe. But now I'm looking at my arm. I think I have some like fiberglass rash or something.
Yeah, you probably should have been wearing long sleeves.
Yeah.
That's not safe.
Lesson learned.
Ugh.
What else is going to get weird? Stay tuned
Fiberglass
for
is
next
toxic.
week. Amazing. Well, any parting words, Jen? Anything you want to share with people?
Oh, I'm just thankful people listen and are part of our community. You know, it's awesome.
Yeah. So right now the TikTok for my burgeoning influence is at Roar Wellness, but we're thinking about maybe changing it. So check out the page and let me know if I should change it to something like the tongue guy
I think the tongue guy is pretty catchy.
or like TikTok tongues. Maybe there already is a tongue guy.
But then you get niched into that, which I don't think you really want to be
I don't
niched
think I
to
want to deal with that. And ultimately, we want people eventually to end up on our website,
Right.
which is another project I need to make.
Dun, dun, dun. Let's see what Jim
What
does
are you
today.
doing while I'm doing all this stuff?
I'm just watching you confused.
It's
like-
a tale of two
I'm like,
husbands.
who are you? And also, hi, welcome back.
Yeah. And you're also looking at flights to travel anywhere other than to be here.
Ooh, it's true. It's just like, you know, has anyone ever been to summer in Colorado? We used to have a saying that people come for the winters to visit because of skiing and they end up staying for the summers.
Yeah, summers
Because
are nice.
It's just like, it's just insane. Like the mountains and the air and the wildflowers and the campfires, if they're allowed when the state isn't burning down.
Yeah. I love playing
just like-
golf out there.
It's so pretty.
It's so nice to play golf in the mountains.
It's just like, gosh, I just love it so much.
All right, we better stop this reverie. It's like a Westworld where the reverie gets too strong. She's
Well-
going to short circuit, get
Well,
weird.
also,
go
I'm just
full
in
Dolores.
a routine of it. Ever since I left Colorado, every single July since I moved, I would go back to Colorado and I hike mountains.
Mm.
Like, so it's kind of like, I don't know, it's probably some rhythm programmed in my brain. I'm like, now it's summer. It's July. I should be in the
Your program is telling you to go back,
mountain flowers,
go back to the source.
wildflowers in the mountains.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys are the best. Thanks for listening. Have a great week. Be kind to yourself if you're not as productive and awesome as I have been this past week.
And figure out your design type because maybe you're not supposed to be
Yeah,
doing
maybe you're
5
not supposed
things
to do
and
all
be
the things.
productive.
You're supposed to be, maybe you're one of those people that gets other people to do the things.
Yeah, manifestors.
Is that what you are?
I'm
You're a
not.
manifester.
No, I'm a generator.
You're a generator.
I take the idea and I run with it and I do the one idea until it's like amazing.
Because I kind of feel like I'm doing a lot of stuff for you. You sure you're not one of those people? All right, guys. Thank you so
Definitely not.
much. Have a great week, and we will check you next time.